Alrighty, welcome everybody. My name is Aaron and I'm going to be facilitating this LinkedIn session with all of you. A big shout out to the UNSW engineering faculty for putting on this session and really taking the time to ensure that every single one of you as students who've been studying hard for whether it's been for less than a year at university or whether you've been doing it for a while, this is the opportunity for you to take your LinkedIn, your networking, putting yourself out there and creating new opportunities out in the world, taking all of that to the next level. Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, upon whose ancestral lands I'm zooming in from and presenting from today. I also want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land for wherever you might be, and also pay respect to elders both past and present, acknowledging them as the traditional owners of the land. So my name is Aaron, and I'll be the person who's going to be leading this session with you. I've got a bit of a background. I've been spending the last 10 years working on entrepreneurship skills, career development skills for university students, also for high school students. I'm also a public speaking coach, so having people develop and discover their natural self-expression, whether it's on a stage with a large group of people or just with small groups, family, friends, meetings, things like that. And I also started a not-for-profit organization which is dedicated to having young people, university students, high school students, new people jumping out into the start of their careers, really discover financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship skills. So that's a bit about me, and really why I'm excited to be sharing and leading this workshop about LinkedIn is because LinkedIn is the community that's probably made the biggest difference out of all of the different online platforms for me and for so many other students that I've mentored and coached and worked with. LinkedIn really is that professional platform where you can share what you're up to, where you can do what you want to do, and you can kind of let people know, and you can create all these different opportunities. So we've got a group here. I want to invite everyone who can to be on camera if possible. We would love to see your faces. And I want to start on by engaging and asking you a couple of questions. So I want you to type into the chat. Just type in yes or no. So yes, do you have a LinkedIn account? Or no, I don't have one yet. So just type yes or no in the chat, and let's get a sense of where everyone is at. So Hui's like yes, Vishna's yes, Gayatри's not yet. Fantastic, thank you. Emily is a yes. Most people are yes. Wilson says yes, but it's very empty. Luke is yes. So we've got a lot of yeses. We've got a couple of no's. Not a problem. This is going to be the perfect session for each and every one of you. And I also want to ask you, if you want to give yourself a score from 1 to 5. So 1 is empty. There's not much there. 5 is like, I am going fantastically at LinkedIn. There's lots of stuff there. I'm very happy with where it's at the moment. Wherever you are, I just want you to type in from 1 to 5. With 0 is literally nothing. Where are you at right now? So just type in a number between 1 to 5. 5 is like, I'm very comfortable. 1 is like, I'm keen to learn as much as possible to start things off. We've got a big range, lots of 1s, 2s, 2.5, 3.5. Great stuff, Roland. A couple of 0s. So maybe for some of you who don't have a LinkedIn account yet, that is perfectly fine. Okay, great. Thanks so much for sharing that. And Hui is there with a 4. Fantastic. Good on you, Hui. So I really want to create that. This is a session where we're going to go through a lot of the foundation, a lot of the fundamentals. I'm going to put the agenda up on the screen. And really, we're going to start by diving into the benefits of LinkedIn. We're going to look at the individual components of your LinkedIn profile so that you have a clear starting point, so that you can, instead of creating my LinkedIn account being this daunting, big picture thing, you've got some individual step-by-step recommendations so that you can start to make progress bit by bit, step by step. You don't have to get it perfect all at once. And after this session, you'll have a lot of the key things for each section of your LinkedIn profile. Connect with people. How can you start to be a part of those communities that you want to learn from, that you want to contribute to, and create those connections and build those connections on this professional platform. And towards the end of this session, there was a special guest speaker talking about what is the recruitment environment like at the moment. So if you're in first year, this is fantastic. So you can see what some of those trends are. And if you're close to finishing your degree, this is going to be really perfect because there are some exciting changes that are really kind of making things exciting for people who are about to graduate, going into this job market that we have right now. So make sure you stick around for that. And there's extra support that we're offering you completely for free. And it's not free, or like it's free for you, but the UNSW engineering faculty has created this opportunity for you to get specific individualized support. So I want you to wait till the end so you can find out about that. But to kick off, we're going to go through an introduction to LinkedIn and its benefits. So let's kick off with that straight away. So let's dive in and start looking at some of LinkedIn's benefits. And we'll start by looking at how you can use LinkedIn and what are the benefits. So first, I just want to highlight that 34% of employers and recruiters in 2020 found LinkedIn to be an effective recruitment tool. So that means that people are finding jobs, companies are actually going out and looking for people to recruit into their roles, all on this platform. And the number one way that people discover new jobs is actually through referrals. So having your connections on LinkedIn, having people that you know, really boosts that awareness so that when you're looking for a role and when people know about it, they can start to kind of think about what are all the different connections they have, what are the different opportunities they have, and you might just have those dots connect through your network on LinkedIn. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can use LinkedIn. Firstly, it's a really powerful opportunity to promote your personal brand, get really noticed. And you can do this by a number of ways. Just your engagements when you're posting will help you stand out. You can start to build your ideas and start sharing your thoughts and commenting on different posts. You can also start to put up your own articles, commenting on specific areas that are interesting to you or that are interesting to your profession or people that you want to connect with. Secondly, it's really great to be able to grow your network and actually find mentors. People are open to being connected to on LinkedIn. And it's not strange to reach out to someone and say, hey, I saw what you were doing. I really love what you're about. And I'd love to connect. Can I connect? And can I maybe ask some questions? People do this all the time. And it's actually a really fantastic opportunity to find new connections, new people in your network, and especially networks and mentors who can really, really support you. Thirdly, it's a great way to connect with your future employers and find those job opportunities. So like I just mentioned, so many people are recruiting on LinkedIn or using LinkedIn to connect to people, and they're definitely using LinkedIn to find out about future candidates like yourself. So connecting with those employers is a really great way to start that journey and to start building that awareness so that by the time you come to the interview, there's a good chance you might have met with, connected with, interacted with, chatted with a number of people in that company. And one of the biggest questions which often people get asked in an interview is, hey, like, why did you pick this company? By connecting with and engaging with, or even just following employees of a company, you can get a real sense of what's this company really, really about? And you can start to actually answer this question without just having to go to just the company webpage. Finally, it's a really great way to connect with alumni from your university. Alumni from your university have that shared connection. You studied at the same place, you went through a lot of the same experiences, and chances are they're further along in your career, but maybe only a couple of steps ahead. So it's a great way to connect and reach out and say, hey, I went to your university. I'd love to connect. Let's chat. Can I share? Can I ask? Can I find out about different things? Can I get your advice? And people who are alumni in a university, often if they've had a great experience there, they're going to be keen to get involved as well. Now, I want to start by using this analogy of donuts. So I want you to imagine that donuts is a skill that you have and it's something that you really want to develop yourself in or grow your career in. Now, if you're on LinkedIn, you can really start by kind of going, okay, I really hope to operate a donut franchise one day. So what are some things that I could do? So you could start by looking at all the different donut companies out there. Where might I want to start to work? What type of skills do I need? What do I really want to go out and really develop? How do I explore? How do I find all of those opportunities? Starting with a job. Now, you've got 3 years of making donuts, and you want to start actually highlighting that so that anyone who wants to recruit you for this donut company really knows what your experience is, who you've worked with, any recommendations that you've got. And number 4, you want to actually highlight those skills. Can you make the round donuts? Can you make the glazed donuts? What are all of those different things which add to your level of skill that go beyond just saying, hey, I'm really good at making donuts. You want to be able to highlight those skills, and LinkedIn is a perfect way to do that. Finally, as you go in your journey and people start looking at you, you want to start sharing, okay, what are some of the recommendations that people have for you about your skills? So someone might say, hey, Aaron, you made the best donuts in this particular category. I love them. All of my clients love them. This is fantastic. 10 stars out of 5. So having those recommendations on your profile adds that credibility, and it shows other people that there are people out there who are willing to recommend you, which is a really powerful thing. Fantastic. So I want to ask you now the question, like, what do you want to accomplish and what benefits and outcomes do you want from your LinkedIn profile? So I'm going to invite you to go down to the chat and just type into the Zoom chat, like, what are some of those benefits? What are some of those outcomes? What are some of those things that you want to accomplish by creating and developing and taking your LinkedIn account to the next level? And I've put in the Zoom chat a couple of the ones which I mentioned just before, but I'm keen to hear from you, and there might be some other things as well. So what benefits and outcomes do you want from your LinkedIn profile? So thanks, Alice, firstly. Growing my network, getting mentors, connecting with employers, job opportunities, job network, mentors, everything. Luke wants everything. Emily wants everything. Fantastic. Connecting with employers, but really everything would be great. Yeah, I want to network with the same people in the same research area. So that's really fantastic. Sihuan said all 4 of the points, all 4. And if you're in the same, just say all 4. You can just type in all 4 as well. What Peter said is perfect. I really want to use it to help make the most out of my degree. Also to gain an insight into what I can do. And that's a really perfect point, Peter, because as you start to engage, as you start to connect, not only can you start to share what you're up to inside of your degree, but you can also start to learn from other people, see what they're doing, see what jobs they've had, see what skills they've developed along the way, so that you can start to build that picture in your mind as to what things are going to look like for the future. So in this next section, what we're going to be doing is we're going to start having a look at what are the key building blocks of your LinkedIn profile. And what I want you to be doing is, if you've got a notepad or if you've got something you can type up, I want you to start looking at what are some simple action steps that you can take that are going to be as easy as possible, something you can do in under 5 to 10 minutes. So as you're going through, like, what are some of those quick 5 to 10 minute actions that you can take from this next section? And at the end, I'm going to invite you to share what some of those actions you're going to take are. And I'm also going to give you the opportunity to ask a couple of questions if you would like. So let's kick on with this next section, which is really diving into what is your LinkedIn profile and what are all of those components for that. So let's go into that right now. So we're going to dive in now to explore the critical foundation of your LinkedIn profile, which is your LinkedIn profile. Now we're going to explore all of the different sections. We'll go through step by step what are the different things that you can do to take your LinkedIn profile to the next level. So for this section, if you have a LinkedIn profile already, you want to really have a look at all of the different things that we're going through and start noting down on a piece of paper, what are some actions I can take? What are some things I can take on? What are some tweaks that I can make? And if you don't yet have a LinkedIn profile, that's totally fine. You really want to set aside a time today or next week to set up that LinkedIn profile. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes so that you can start getting on the journey, and you can use all of these tips and all of this advice as a powerful foundation for your profile. Now, LinkedIn is really critical. I want to reiterate that over 75% of hiring managers look at the profiles when they are searching or finding out about you as a candidate. So even if you don't put your LinkedIn link in your application, they're going to search you up, they're going to find you, and they're going to really use that as an opportunity to get to know you before you even apply. And this is a really fantastic opportunity, and you want to really just be prepared and be ready to showcase your best self. And where that starts for you is your headshot. So your headshot is the first thing that people see. It's going to be there on all of your comments on your main page. Anytime you post an article, it's really going to be the face of your entire profile. So you really want to also know that if you don't have a profile, you're missing out. the profile picture is there. If your profile picture is there, you are 21 times more likely to be viewed. Now, if you just see that blue outline of a head, people aren't able to connect with you. People aren't able to build that connection. And ultimately, without that there's less trust. So have a profile photo. And where you can start is pretty simple. So start by thinking professional. Start by thinking, okay, what would I wear to work? Or if you're not clear, or if you don't have the attire that you'd be wearing to work, you can start by thinking, okay, what would fit in under business professional? So suit, tie, if that's appropriate for you. For some jobs, that's not fully required. So a business shirt, something like that. That will showcase you in the space that you're at. Also, you want to start focusing on your headshot. So your shoulders and your head, ideally. If you think about what would be framed within a Zoom window like we've got here, you really want to kind of think about, okay, that's going to be showcasing, and you can, not that you're limited to these sorts of situations, you can go out anywhere, but you also want to have your profile photo really be just of you. So don't be putting in a group photo where you've got a couple of people there and you're cropping them out. You want to have someone just take a photo of you, just you, so that you can really showcase who you are. Now, a really simple thing to do is, if you don't have one yet, get someone to take a photo for you, grab your phone, and go out and just stand up against a blank wall. Stand up there, take that photo, and put it up there. Because like I said before, you are 21 times more likely to be seen and more likely to have your profile opened if you have that profile picture there. So you can start there, put on a business shirt. Don't worry about getting it too perfect. And also don't wait till you get that professional photo. Don't wait till you get that perfect headshot. A lot of people think, and you might be thinking, that LinkedIn, I have to get it perfect, otherwise I can't put anything up. Now, wanting to get it perfect is going to be one of the biggest things that will slow you down or stop your progress in developing your profile. Instead, don't worry about getting it perfect. Start thinking about, where can I make progress? So if you don't have a profile photo, your number one priority should be putting up a profile photo. And here are some good examples. So nice smiling faces, centered. Some of them have an interesting but not too distracting background. And you can see that they're smiling. You can see that they're happy. You can actually start to connect to who they are. Now, the next aspect of your profile, right underneath your profile picture, is your headline. So your headline is essentially a short, extremely short summary of who you are. And you want to start to get a sense of, okay, what do I want to do? So what types of jobs do I want to go for? Or what am I already doing? So these are two places to come from. So where do I want to go? And what am I already doing? And really representing all of the different aspects. And you don't have to limit this, by the way, to just your professional job title, although that's often a good place to start. So in terms of your headline, like I said, what work do you do or do you want to do? And start thinking about, what are the key words in your headline that will really paint a rich picture of what you're up to, what you're about. So a really simple, basic one could be, hey, I'm a marketing graduate seeking an entry-level position. And you could also take this to the next level and saying, hey, I'm a soon-to-be graduate or a penultimate year student seeking marketing positions in this field. And you might be really specific, or obviously engineering here. So you might have a look at, okay, what type of engineering do I want to do? What type of processes do I want to work on? What type of expertise do I really want to focus on? The more specific you have your headline, the more the people that you're looking to connect with, the ones that will actually give you the opportunities, the more that they'll go, yes, okay, this is someone who is really interested. If you say something extremely generic, it might apply to everyone, but it's not going to stand out to everyone. So I have a number of examples here, right? And as we just scan through these examples, I want you to think about, as we look at these people, these are all real people. I want you to think about, what has them stand out, or what does that section actually say about them? Okay, what do we think? What can we find out about them, if anything, even if we don't know all of the individual items? So the first person is a student representative, student mentor, facilitator. and currently at university. So right now I can get a sense of, okay, this person is pretty active, they're engaged, they're doing a bunch of things, they also run workshops. And you might ask yourself, okay, what am I curious about? Now your header is a perfect opportunity to have people be curious about you. So if I see this, I'm like, I wonder what type of workshops. I'm probably going to ask about that. That's something which is interesting for me. Next one, founded a startup, has participated in a bunch of different programs. So you could actually put the programs that you've participated in. I know UNSW has the UNSW Heroes program. There's Univative. There's the Interchange program, which the Frank team also facilitates. So if you've participated in or even won or placed in any of these positions, you can highlight that. And you don't have to have won an award or come first to acknowledge that you've participated, because a lot of these programs, really being part of it, really says a lot about you as it is, okay? And then the third one, okay, this has got a bit of a focus, okay, Internet of Things, computer vision, intern at this place. So you can start to showcase, okay, this is a bit about what this person is specializing in, right? And that gives you a sense of, okay, who is this person? So when you look at your header, think about, okay, what could I share about who I am beyond just the professional experience that will really give people a sense of, okay, like, what are all the different aspects of who I am? Now, all of that really gets expanded in your about section. So this is the couple of paragraphs right next in your profile. And something to know straight away is that LinkedIn will showcase the top 3 lines of your about section. So you really want to start with, okay, what are the top 3 lines going to be about? What am I passionate about? This is what I'm up to. This is a bit about who I am. And in this section, I would avoid using absolute statements like, I have skills in this, that, and the other. But what you can start with is, okay, this is something I'm passionate about. This is something I'm excited about. I'm really interested in this field because, or I really get excited when I work on things that contribute to that. Right? When you start making statements where you own your own experience, they're not statements where anyone has to assess or judge. So if I said in my about section, I'm extremely efficient and effective, right away in the back of my mind when I'm reading that is like, okay, how efficient, how effective? But if someone tells me, hey, I'm incredibly passionate about the difference that I can make in this area, like, I just kind of receive that like, okay, wow, I'm really interested in it. I want to find out more. So in terms of your fast tips, like I said, the first 3 sentences will make you stand out. And this is something for your entire profile. While it is good to put some buzzwords in there and some relevant keywords, you don't want to make it all buzzwords and you don't want to make it overly wordy. So this should be a sentence or a couple of sentences that anyone in your network should be able to read and understand and get a sense of. Now, in terms of your about section, there's a couple of tips. Start thinking about, what am I going for? Am I applying for a job? Am I applying for an internship? Am I applying to participate in a competition? Or am I participating in an Engineers Without Borders program or UNSW Heroes program? Whatever it might be, and start to think about, given what I'm applying for, what do I really want to demonstrate? What do I want to showcase? So start thinking there and start thinking about, what do the recruiters or the people reading this application want to know about me? And you can start thinking about what skills could help me achieve the results. What do I love about what I'm currently doing that could showcase that? And also in your about section, really great to start talking about, this is where I want to take my career. Now, the one pitfall that I'll mention with your career goals is you do want to make it specific and you do want it to have it focused. So if you're applying for multiple different roles, you want to consider that if you're applying for multiple roles in different areas, if your LinkedIn profile says, I want to do Internet of Things, and I want to do design, and I want to do, by the way, this other type of engineering, and they're each specific areas, what might be left with, what you might leave the people reading this is maybe this person doesn't know what they want. So you want to start by going, okay, I'm going for this type of job. I'm going for this type of job. I'm gonna make it all happen, and I'm gonna start looking at what are all of the different characteristics, the skills, the things I'm passionate about in that direction. And like I said, you want to avoid having too many buzzwords in there. Now, I want to pause and just go into a way that you can start seeing if your profile is starting to get the views that you are committed to getting. So the first thing is, as you start to post, as you start to engage, or even if you don't, you'll be able to see this dashboard, which will show you how many times you've shown up in search, how many times people have viewed your posts. So obviously, if you haven't posted much or you haven't posted recently, the post number will be quite low, but you can still see the search appearances. Now, as you start taking action, as you start connecting with people, as you start putting up articles, and we'll talk a bit about that later, and as you start making posts and commenting, you should expect, and you can actually be able to track and analyze, okay, are my stats going up? Are things kind of moving upwards? So this is something just to keep in mind, and I recommend as you're building out your profile, just check in on this every couple of times, and not like it's a direct impact. This is just a background thing to be aware of. Okay, wow, my impact and my number of times that I'm showing up is increasing. Okay, now something in terms of that is at the start, it's going to be very low, and that's totally fine. And then as you build up, this is something which you can just kind of appreciate over time. Now, another really powerful thing is you can start to have a look at what type of people are reaching out to me. What industries are they in? What position titles are they in? Where do they work? So that if you're starting to engage, for example, if you're going to an industry LinkedIn group, or if you're following a company page and you're just kind of being very active in the comments, you might be able to start to see that some of the people from that company are starting to actually engage with you. And that's really powerful, because if you're starting to show up in people's LinkedIn algorithm, then it means that you're right there and available to be seen. Now, we're going to dive into your experience. So this experience section really covers off the entire world of what have you done, what have you accomplished, and what really gives you that foundation to go out into the world and really make a difference in the career that you're out to create. So really, really simply, you want to make sure that everything that you can put is in there. And at the very least, so if you've got nothing in there at all, start by putting in your different experiences and just list them up and put the dates and the duration. Then the next step is really to build it up and start putting in a brief description. And then as you go, you can actually start kind of fleshing them out, adding skills, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So really, profiles with 2+ positions in the experience section, up to 36 more times more likely to be found by recruiters. So this is really critical. And when I say recruiters, there are people out there whose literal job it is to go out and find jobs or find people for jobs on LinkedIn. And sometimes they've got specific access, which lets them see more profiles, including profiles which might not be in their network. So really having these minimum factors of your profile filled out and complete gives you that maximum potential to actually be seen by these people. So for each section, write 1 to 2 introductory sentences. Start by looking at what are the wins, what are the results, what are the different things that you've achieved throughout this section, and really showcase some of the skills that you've done. And this one here is pretty powerful. I collaborated virtually with 3 project team members to create a social media campaign on Instagram and LinkedIn to help promote an upcoming webinar on LinkedIn. And we had 300 people register their interest for this webinar. So right there, I can see that there's some measurability. So I worked with 3 people, 300 people registered. It was on LinkedIn and it was on Instagram. And it was this campaign, which kind of gives me a sense of it wasn't just a one-off thing. It was over a couple of weeks. Lots of different actions there. Now, even if this example isn't something directly related to your profession, you can really get that in this experience. I've got a sense of who this person is. This is someone who can work in teams. This is someone who understands how to achieve, or at least how to report results. Okay, and once the event's done, you might say, okay, we had 200 people attend, right? The numbers don't matter so much as what they represent. Because in your career early on, those numbers might be quite low. And I want to tell you that's perfectly fine, but they point to a level of specificity which is going to be really powerful for you. Now, in terms of your experience section, you can also add media, links, photos, sites, videos. So if you are working on a project with a team and you take some photos, you could put that up. If you're building a prototype of something for a project, you could take photos of that and put that up. Even more powerful, you can, if you're volunteering or if you're going and taking part in larger programs, start to look at, are they putting out press releases? Are they putting out news reports? Are they putting out even posts to talk about the program to the other people in the community? And you want to start looking at those and seeing, okay, where are those? I can just create a link to that and put that in my profile. Or if there's nothing there, potentially you could actually write that article yourself so that you get the experience and you actually are able to showcase that on your profile as well. And 150 to 200 words for each experience section is a great place to start. And some people go longer and some people go shorter, but that's a good place to start with. Now, in terms of your education, this section here is really perfect for you to showcase all of the different things that you do on top of your studies. Okay, so an engineering degree in your field, people are going to understand what the subjects are. So I'd actually recommend that you don't have to write your detailed subjects list. If they want to get that, they'll be able to ask you for that. You'll give it to them. But really, this is a place to showcase what else have you been involved in. Have you taken part in the UNSW Heroes program? Have you been a student mentor? Have you been a student representative? Have you volunteered or been part of any other societies? And if you're looking at all of these things and going, oh, I don't know if I do any of these things, then while you're still in your career, you can start thinking, okay, maybe some of these opportunities are ones that I can jump in on. Maybe I could join a society. Maybe I could put my hand up. So don't worry if you don't have those just yet, but this is a perfect place to showcase that. Because everyone who graduates from your university is going to have a fantastic degree. And when you go out into the market, to the job search, that is going to be the kind of the minimum bar, right? Everyone's going to be awesome going for these jobs. And so you want to be able to go, okay, what have I actually accomplished? And you might find that you've accomplished a lot more than you think that you have as well. Now, in terms of recommendations, this is a really powerful thing to get that social proof, to get that recognition, to get that validation. And it can be as simple as reaching out to people that you've worked with, potentially team members, if you've volunteered, especially, if you've worked on project teams, especially, and just reach out to them and say, hey, would you be able to write a recommendation of what it was like to work for me? On the screen here is one example. Matthew, I ran a public speaking workshop with Matt, and he loved it. He was so grateful. I was like, hey, do you mind writing something up just about what it was like before, what it was like, what did you discover during the session, and what was it like after? And he was like very excited to do it. He did it straight away, and he was very happy to actually contribute in that way. So, and in that example, I actually asked him, hey, could you tell me specifically about what was it like before, during, and after? So you can actually kind of suggest, okay, could you talk about this experience? Could you talk about what it was like having me as a team leader? Could you tell me what it was like for these things? And we recommend that you jump in and have at least 3 recommendations. And you can start with your supervisors, your managers, like I mentioned, volunteering and all of those different things. Now, here's something to think about. Don't take yourself out of the game and don't not ask for the recommendation because you think they might be busy or I don't know if I did very well. Here's the thing, like as long as you're respectful and you're professional, you should make the request, right? And you should make the request because you don't know what they're going to do, right? And they might say yes or they might say no. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person or that you weren't worthy of a recommendation. It might just mean that they're busy. Like I've had people ask me for a recommendation and follow up 2 or 3 times because I didn't get to it. And I was apologetic and I was really wanted to recommend them. And then when I did, it was fantastic. So that persistence can pay off as long as you're respectful and professional. And you can also suggest the skills that you'd like to have people endorse you for. Now, in terms of the overall LinkedIn has this fantastic feature which shows you, as you're building out your profile, how do we get to the all-star status? And as you start to fill in your education, as you start to kind of have your connections be connected with on LinkedIn, as you add things like achievements, awards, you add your languages, that profile status will increase in its ranking until you get 100% complete all-star status, which means that you have things in every single one of those sections. Now that's really powerful, because when you have 100% complete all-star status, well, first of all, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've put everything in there, but it means that you've engaged with every single section of your LinkedIn profile. And what that does is LinkedIn now goes, right, this person is set up, they're good to go. We're going to give them the opportunity to be seen by even more people. So this actually expands your reach in terms of the algorithm. So you want to go for that all-star status, have it be complete. And by the way, when it's 100% complete all-star status, that doesn't mean that you're done and you never have to edit your profile ever again. There's always things to go, right? And in a moment, we're going to be talking about, or at the end of this session, we'll be talking about a way that you can get actionable advice that will take you through step by step to take your profile to the next level. So you want to hang in for that and really take advantage of these amazing opportunities. Fantastic. So I want to give everyone the opportunity in a moment to ask any questions that may be popping up. But first, I want you to type yes in the chat if in that section you saw things that you can take on, like simple actions that you can take, simple sections that you can look at for your profile. So type yes if you saw something that you could action, something that you could take on. Just type yes in the chat right now. Lots of yeses coming through. Fantastic. And I want you to type the word me, as in me. If you saw things inside of that you could actually go out and take on to actually build your experiences so that you could put those into your LinkedIn. So opportunities to go out and get more experiences or different experiences. Type in me in the chat. If you saw things which like, oh, I never thought about putting that in my profile. Or I never thought about going for that opportunity. Oh, I never heard about the UNSW Heroes program or Innovative. Like, what about that? Fantastic. So inside of going through this, right, one of the things which you can constantly be doing beyond this training is having a look at other people's profiles, see what have they done, what things have they taken on, because so many of these opportunities are there and they're available. And for some of them, all it takes is for you to put your hand up and say, yeah, I want to be a part of that. Okay. So I'm going to throw in the opportunity for you to ask some questions right now. So if you've got questions, type them into the chat. I'll be able to handle maybe 1, 2, 3 of them, depending on time. The first question, which I saw, was by Juan Tran. Yes, I will try to get 50 connections. How long does it often take? Okay, so no right or wrong answer, but like if you start to connect with people, the first thing which you can do is give LinkedIn access to your email contacts, for example. And then you might find that there's actually a lot of people who you already know who are on LinkedIn. So they're probably some of the first people that you connect with. We'll be talking more a bit about that in the next section. And then things like today, you could actually put your LinkedIn link into the Zoom chat afterwards. Don't do it now, but do it afterwards. And you can connect with everyone here and be like, hey, I'm also a UNSW engineering student. I attended this event, would love to connect. Connect with me via LinkedIn. So if you were doing that, you could get to 50 connections normally pretty quick. Like normally the first 50 to 100, 150 are actually the quickest, because there's going to be lots of people that you already know that are on LinkedIn. And you might have friends who aren't on LinkedIn yet. You can tell them, hey, do you have a LinkedIn account? And if they don't, then you should tell them like, hey, you should really get one. And then they can go get one. Ruby's question is, does competition belong to education or experience? So I'm going to take that you mean participation in a competition. I would put that in your experience, especially early on in your career. There's no right or wrong answer. You could put them in both. If it's an educational competition, you might say that it leans more towards the education section, but definitely you could put them into an experience. Hey, I participated in this competition. I participated with 5 other people. This is the challenge that we worked on. This is the outcome that we produced. And if you came first, second, third, or you can mention that as well, but you don't have to, because like I mentioned, often there'll be a couple of different things just by participating, just by completing the competition, completing the program, you'll be able to do that. And Shana says, how would you describe your part-time experiences? Linking it to your degree where it doesn't relate at all. Yeah, perfect. Now, there's going to be a lot of experiences out there. Thanks, Ruby. There's going to be a lot of experiences out there which aren't going to relate to your specific degree. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. What they do demonstrate is they demonstrate all of those additional skills, time management, that you're someone who can be accountable or responsible for getting something done. There are people out there who will very positively look on any sort of fast food experience because they know if you've spent any amount of time in a fast food environment, let's say McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, KFC, things like that, you've had experience working, being trained to a process, managing your time. And as you start to kind of get more senior, potentially leading a team, training other people. So even though it might not be related to, say, engineering or a specific aspect of your degree, all of those things, you could still mention them. Now, as your degree goes on, 3 years down the track, 5 years down the track, as you start to get more and more different opportunities, that would be the appropriate time to start either cutting back the descriptions or taking those out completely. But for the start, while you're at the start of your career, I would absolutely include them so that people can get that sense of who you are, what you've been doing. Do you have any work experience at all, even if part-time or casual? All of that paints a picture about who you are. So I think they're absolutely fantastic things, Shana, to include. Now, in terms of how to link it to your degree, you'll find that for specific degrees or specific jobs, there are specific characteristics and traits. So if you're doing something which relates to a lot of teamwork, you could mention the teamwork aspects or highlight those at the top. If you're doing things like a lot of mathematics or a lot of analysis, you could highlight the aspects of your role which lend towards that. Reporting, things like that. And there might not be, which is fine. But in those casual roles, you could also then look for, hey, Mr. or Mrs. boss, manager, whoever it is that your boss is, this is my degree. Is there any way that I could start putting some of my skills to use in my existing role? Most employers are very keen to hear that. They might not have the opportunities, but at least if you say that, you might create those opportunities for yourself. Okay, so great question, Shana. All right, so in this final section now, we are going to dive in and have a look at what does it going to take to actually go out and connect with people in your networks, to build those relationships and nurture those connections on LinkedIn. So we'll dive into this now, and you want to stay to the very end so you can get that opportunity to have your profile be personally reviewed to help you develop and take your LinkedIn to the next level. So let's have a look at this final section right now. Now that you have the foundation for your LinkedIn profile, it's going to be all about going out and making those connections, building your network and finding and creating your community. So where to start is with people that you already know. So your friends, your family, your classmates, even family friends that you know are likely going to be in their professional careers in various different areas. You can reach out to your mentors, to your classmates, to your tutors. All of these people are people that you can start to connect with. And you want to make sure that you're personalizing these invitations. Now, you want to personalize these invitations by going and logging in on your online account on your browser. And when you click invite, there'll be the opportunity to add a note, and you should almost always add that note. Now, the exception is if you're really, really good friends, and it'd be weird to add a formal sounding note. Don't add a note then, and then if they don't accept you, you can just hassle them afterwards. Be like, hey, why didn't you accept my invite? But for everyone else, it's probably appropriate to add a note, and you want to look at a couple of different things. So these are not things which you have to include in every single one. You want to look from, okay, what's going to be appropriate, but really just who am I? Where do I know you from? This is where we met. How can they help you, or what are you after in this connection? It might just be to connect and to network. And to build that connection. That's what a lot of people have been saying. And it could be as simple as, hey, I noticed that you're participating in this, in the innovative program. I'm participating as well. I'd love to connect with you. Or hey, we were in this program and we haven't actually met formally, but I saw you share in the workshop that you were working on this thing. That was really exciting for me. I would love to connect. or hey, this is what's going on. I saw that you've been posting, and we've been actually connecting with each other a lot on different on LinkedIn groups, and I just wanted to connect based on that. So all of these things are there. Creating that invitation and personalizing that invitation really makes a difference, and it also makes a difference when you down the line, when you want to reach out to this person, they've posted that job opportunity, and you're like, I have no idea how I met this person. Having this personalized invitation means that when you go to actually message them, you can actually remember where you met them from. So this is incredibly powerful and useful. Now, in terms of people that you don't yet know, or people who in your second level connections, they're friends of friends, or they're connections of connections more specifically, you want to start by looking at who are those different people that we could connect with. Who could I reach out to? What are all those different things? A great place to start is through your alumni for your university. And it's very simple. You just go to the UNSW page on LinkedIn, you search alumni, and you can really find out who are the people in all of those different things. What year did they study? What did they graduate from? What sort of specialties did they do? And you can even see where they're working. Where in the world are they right now? So you might start thinking, okay, I'm here in Sydney at the moment. Who's nearby? Or you might be thinking, I want to go, when we're able to travel, I want to go and work overseas in this area. Who could I connect with in that area who studied at my university? And you can simply reach out and say, hey, I noticed that you are a UNSW alumni. I'm on this career path. This is where I'm going to. And I'm really wanting to connect with people who are doing well in their careers and who are successful, because I'd love to just learn from your experience and just follow your journey. Would love to connect. Can we connect? So when you kind of create it that way, most people are so excited to and are really keen to be a contribution and make that difference as well. So you could just say something like that and connect with people in your alumni network. Now, ultimately, there's a couple of other places you could go. You could follow the companies that you're interested in. You could also follow different organizations, for example, industry bodies or groups that work within the field of professionals that you are in. For example, Engineers Australia, Engineers Without Borders are two quite different but still quite well-respected organizations. And start commenting, liking, sharing, engaging with what's going on for them. And when you want to think about, okay, like what are those different jobs, what's going on, by engaging with these people, by engaging with their posts, by the time it comes to the interview where they ask you, hey, why do you want to work here? You're not going to have to just rely on this made up thing that you read from the company value statement on the website. Really, you'll be able to share, hey, I've been engaging with different people, and every time I interact with someone from your company on LinkedIn or in this field or on this topic, I'm really struck by the passion that you have for this, or that everyone is just really so happy to contribute. And that's the kind of place that I want to work for. So building these connections gives you that authentic foundation so that you can actually get to know, okay, why do I want to do this? As opposed to, this is what I think that I know about what I think is out there. Now, in terms of staying active on LinkedIn, really you want to go out there and start thinking about, where could I create content? Even if it's something simple, even if it's a post or a photo. Hey, I did this program. Here's a photo of my team. I just want to thank the UNSW Heroes program, for example. I've run workshops for UNSW Heroes before. So that's just top of mind for me. So hey, thanks to the team. It might be as simple as that. And that starts to put some action out there. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be super long or super extensive. And you could expand that by going, hey, this is what I learned. You might tag your team members. You might tag your mentor. Share what you're discovering as you go. You can also have a look at what's going on in my industry. What am I interested in? In your industry, if there are areas where you're like, wow, I'm just really excited about this type of thing, and I would research like this anyway, I would start sharing that so that you can get that awareness out into your world. And also people who look at your profile can start to see what you're interested in. People might have opportunities or different connections. I've seen people post job opportunities and connected mates with those, and they've gotten the job. So all of these is available so that you can actually just stay active on LinkedIn and just know what's going on. And also articles. So articles are a feature on LinkedIn where you can actually create an article. And again, it doesn't have to be super fancy. You could start by sharing, hey, I did this program, or I studied at this degree during this period of time, and this is what it was like. Or this is what it was like to study online. Here are the 3 things I didn't expect to really enjoy about online learning. Maybe. And you can dive into that and don't have to get it perfect, but start to share what's there for you and start to share, okay, cool, what's going on? And as you build up this experience, your ability to write and share your ideas will get and grow and develop as well. So don't expect it to be perfect, but start creating and start putting it out there, really, so that you can connect with and contribute to yourself to that community. Now, a quick feature that you can use is job alerts. Really, this is going to be good for you if you're looking for jobs, but also down the track, if you are looking to go, okay, what is my next job in my next 2 to 3 to 4 years? You could start setting up job alerts for that, just so that you can start to be aware right now. Okay, what are the types of things that are available? What are they looking for? Imagine how useful it would be in your career to know that the types of jobs you're going for in 3 to 4 years want a specific type of experience, so that right now, where you are right now, you've got the ability to go and get that experience, to create those opportunities and to really make that happen. So that's where job alerts can really give that awareness to give you an insight into the future. Now, all of this, there's a lot going on. I want to just advise and give you a recommendation to take 1 hour a month to really spend on building up your LinkedIn and start by just going, okay, scanning through, is there anything else I can add? I'm just going to add it. Or is there anything I can flesh out? I'm going to add a bit more detail. I'm just going to do that. And if you still got time left over, okay, who am I wanting to connect with? I'm just going to go connect with them. Or are there any topics? I'm just going to go like a few posts. But if you start by creating this regular practice of getting your profile up to date, you'll notice that the progress happens by itself. And before too long, your profile will be unrecognizable from where it is right now. This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in one go. And it really takes that ongoing discovery. Now, just a quick thing about LinkedIn, it's not Facebook or Instagram, so you really want to keep everything professional. Keep it professional, keep it respectful. And if you're coming from that space, you could almost really kind of do anything. Like you might not have chatted to someone for 2 years, but if you're professional and respectful, you could actually say, hey, we haven't chatted in 2 years, and I wanted to touch base again. And you could reconnect. Avoid overly negative conversations. It's a public environment. Basically, if you want to be comfortable having the conversations that you're having, if you're having them with complete strangers and your friends' parents, who you like, by the way. So you want to kind of keep that as a guide for who you might want to speak to or what you want to talk about. Now, finally, we want to fully support you in having everything that you need fully set up. So we're giving you a LinkedIn profile check. We're going to go through step by step your profile, what are some actions you can take, some suggestions. This is where you're doing really great. And don't wait for it to be perfect. Dive in and take up this opportunity. And I'm going to tell you all a bit about that in a few moments. And it really is something which the UNSW engineering team are putting up. They're contributing to you, and they're really wanting to make sure that your career gets taken to the next level. So in a moment, I'll tell you about that, and you don't want to miss this opportunity. Fantastic. So I've just put the link in the chat to confirm your LinkedIn profile check. So this is free for you. The UNSW engineering faculty put a lot of time and resources so that they have people dedicated to actually reviewing your profile, to actually going through it step by step using all of the recommendations from this section, because we really don't want you to be left in the lurch. We want you to start taking action. And in terms of Wilson's question, when do I start filling it out? Well, my answer to that is start right now. Okay, start right now, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come up. You never know when someone says, hey, like, do you want to apply for this? What's your LinkedIn profile? You don't want to be caught in that moment with, oh, I'll send it to you when I'm ready, and then you're doing it last minute. So start now, even if it's starting by just putting in the individual jobs, even individual roles, the specific types. So start right now. And one of the fantastic places that you can start, Wilson, is by filling in that form. And for everyone here, filling in that form to complete your LinkedIn profile check, or to confirm your LinkedIn profile check. And to do that, you'll need to go to your LinkedIn profile. You need to go to your profile and get the link which is at the top. Okay, you get the link which is at the top. And for example, it's going to look like this. So that's my link. You're welcome to connect with me as well. If you haven't customized your LinkedIn link, it might be your first name dash last name with a couple of numbers at the end. That's fine. So you put that into the form, and I want you to jump on and do that right now. And don't wait until it's perfect. Okay. So I'm now going to hand over. Oh, there's another link there as well, which says complete your evaluation. So that's something which I want you to do as well. And I'll come back to that towards the end. So if you've got time, you can do that. But right now, I want to introduce Sophie Stankovsky. She is at FDM. She spent in the past 12 plus years at UNSW working with students, and she is going to be sharing some amazing things about what the current job market is for students like yourself. So get excited, and Sophie, I'll pass over to you.
Thanks so much, Aaron. It's really good to be here. I'm going to quickly share my screen so that I can share the good news with you all. Just want to thank you for staying involved. I know that we're approaching the hour mark and you guys have been tuning in for a long time now, so I will try to keep this quick, but I do have some good news that I want to share with you. So to formally introduce myself, my name's Sophie. I am the University Partnerships Manager here at FDM. FDM is an IT consultancy, and we launch graduate careers in tech, and we accept applications from all disciplines. So I'm really excited to be talking to you all here today at UNSW. I have a background in communications and careers education, and I'm actually currently a student at UNSW studying psychology. So I'm a fellow student as well as a graduate employer. And my passion is connecting people, and I've spent the vast majority of my career connecting students with graduate employers. As Aaron said, I spent about 12 years connecting UNSW students with employers, and now I've jumped the fence and I'm on the other side as an employer connecting with universities. And I get really energized and passionate about being creative in my personal life and in my private life and in my professional life. So I really enjoy coming along to these workshops. But let's get to the good news, shall we? The good news is that the graduate recruitment market is hot. It is absolutely hot. All the graduate recruiters are out there wanting to talk to you while you're still studying to talk about graduate employment. Reason being, the borders are closed. They will be open soon, but there is not enough talent at the moment for all of the companies. And so they are looking to graduates. They are expanding their search to more disciplines. They are more open than they've ever been before. And this is good news for you guys looking for jobs. Recruitment timelines are also shifting. So traditionally, they used to always be the year before in around March for all the big employers. Now there are more opportunities opening up all year round, including at FDM, and this seems to be the ongoing trend. So don't panic if you feel like you've missed a certain window, because more employers are actually opening up those windows and doing rolling recruitment. Good news about the gender gap, it is slowly closing, particularly in the engineering field. More females are entering the sector, and that is really, really good news for diversity. Less graduates are going into traditional graduate programs, and I think this is fantastic. There are so many different opportunities out there. Big employers offering big graduate programs are great, but they're not for everybody. And if you're looking around and considering your options, definitely consider small to medium enterprises who have different pathways into your first job. And more students are considering moving interstate, obviously when COVID restrictions ease, but have a look around, shop around this big, beautiful country of ours, because more students are now doing job searches in different states, looking at graduate employment as the opportunity to try a new city. So that's my good news. Now I want to talk about what graduate employers are now looking for. Obviously, they're looking for your discipline-specific knowledge. Great, tick, that's an assumption. Now we're looking for the bonus things. Obviously, in this new virtual world, we're looking for virtual communicators. So we need people who are confident at flicking on their cameras. We need people who are adept at sitting on Zoom calls or Teams meetings, and who can use those platforms and be confident talking on them. We need people to be proactive and watching the trends. So following the news, regularly checking your LinkedIn feed, so that you can be anticipating needs and be the first to engage on behalf of your company and also on behalf of your career, to be proactive. We need people to be planned and deliberate, particularly if you are working virtually. And a lot of companies are onboarding fresh grads virtually. And that means we have to be really planned about the ways that we connect and the ways that we communicate. So excellent organisation skills and planning and scheduling is really, really vital when entering the grad market. Being protective, safety first. Gone are the days where we can take that for granted. Safety and compliance to safety is really, really important at all employers, and they are likely to make you do some training so that they can stay on top of that. Obviously, we all need to be tech savvy, but the more tech savvy you can be, the more valuable you are to the market. On behalf of FDM, I can say that any tech skills, no matter if they're self-taught or if they're formally studied, are going to make you more employable. So I encourage you to look into that. Upskill your knowledge, upskill your tech skills. It will make you more employable no matter what job you are going for. And of course, in this remote world of working, you need to be good at self-managing and be reflective on what's going on for you. This will help you organise your work, keep on top of things, but also reach out for support if and when you need it. So all of these will make you highly employable in this current market and are relevant to sort of where we are in this post-pandemic state. So I now want to talk about, you've set up your LinkedIn profile and you're starting to connect with employers. I want to give you some tips about standing out from the crowd, because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are graduating from the exact degree you are doing. So what differentiates you from everybody else? I want you to stand out from the crowd, and I want you to be remembered for the right reasons. So when you do connect with employers and you do have a chance to talk, I want you to find your unique. And that means being able to talk about what energizes you. Yeah, it's a really important topic of conversation, and a really appropriate one when you maybe connect with them on LinkedIn or maybe in person. Fingers crossed when we start to reconnect in person. So this means, what gets you up out of bed in the morning? Why did you study what you studied? What inspires you? What gives you energy? Like I said at the beginning of this presentation, being creative energizes me. And I have this in my personal life and my professional life, and I'm able to talk to that. You should be able to talk to that as well. Tell me something that I won't find on LinkedIn or your CV. So you need to be able to engage in topics that are broader than just your professional skill set, to be able to open up general chit chat, build rapport, and actually show that you're a whole person, not just somebody who can study really hard. Employers are looking for whole people who are well-rounded, who have different interests and little quirks about them. Don't dull your spark, bring it forward. Next up, what is your purpose? This is where we get a little bit deeper. So I pursued a career in communications and careers education because I really liked seeing the light bulb moments in students' eyes when they realized they had more transferable skills and they were actually a lot more talented than they even gave themselves credit for. Whatever your story is, why did you study what you studied? Why are you pursuing a career in what you want to pursue a career in? What's that emotion that sits behind it? And can you share that story with employers? That's a really powerful story. And in the sea of sameness, be unforgettable. So try to add a bit of creative flair, play to your difference. If you've got something unique about you, let it help you stand out from the crowd. Being different and unique is a positive. Let me say that. Absolutely play to your uniqueness, because it will help you differentiate from all the other hundreds and thousands of people who are graduating with the same degree. And finally, build a brand that people want to connect with. That means being real. That means being authentic to who you are, and of course, owning what makes you different. People connect with people who feel relatable, but who also aren't perfect. None of us are perfect. And we want to be able to connect in a simple and easy way, and relating to someone with your imperfections and your flaws, as well as all the shiny bits, is a great way to be authentic. So put your values front and center, be yourself, and it's a good way to put your best foot forward. So that has been a lightning speed wrap up of why I think you guys are in a really good situation looking for graduate jobs. I do encourage you to follow all of Aaron's tips. They were fantastic. And can I emphasize the most important point that Aaron said? Start now. And start now by connecting with both Aaron and I. We're happy to receive your LinkedIn connections. And I'm going to pass it back across.
Thank you so much. So to hear all of that good news. And it's great to have a lot of those things echoed, especially be your authentic self, everyone. And that includes, don't worry if you don't have it perfect. In fact, you're always guaranteed to not have it perfect. But you know what? There's no actual manual out there for what are the exact ways to word things, what are the exact ways to say things, what are the exact times to post. That manual does not exist. Okay, it doesn't exist. So there's no way to actually get it perfect except in your head. So start taking those actions, start going out there, start making that difference, start creating and sharing who you are. So I've put in these chat a couple, the link to join and connect with myself and with Sophie. Please do connect with us. We're happy to answer any of the questions that you maybe didn't get to ask in this section. And also, please, if you haven't yet already, make sure that you confirm your LinkedIn profile check. Get that specific, tailored to your profile advice for what are some of the actionable steps to take. And also, if you haven't yet, I'd love to invite you to throw in, click the link which says complete your evaluation so that we can know how to take these workshops and take these things to the next level so that we can make the difference for you and your career. So final thank you once again to the UNSW Engineering faculty for putting on this fantastic workshop. The recordings will be made available to everyone who's participated, so you can keep an eye out in your email for that. And we look forward to connecting with you. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for participating. And I'm going to open up the chat. So if you want to put your LinkedIn links in so that other people can connect with you, you're welcome to do that now. So the chat's open. Thank you so much for being here and have a fantastic afternoon.